The footage that has been released of Charlie Kirk being shot, it is very reminiscent of JFK, MLK, and then also RFK being shot. It was really crazy. The news alert came in probably for me around 3:05. I had seen that people had been posting about it maybe 10 minutes or 5 to 10 minutes prior to me getting the update from my news app. And then the first video that I saw was pretty grainy. I could tell that he had been shot, but I couldn't see anything. I've since seen the up close image or video of him being shot. It looks really horrible. It's obviously very similar to how Irina Zaruska looked when she had been stabbed with all of that blood everywhere. So this was really horrific. And we've been talking about the Irina Zaruska stabbing and talking about how nobody helped her for like 2 or 3 minutes. I really hope that people learn from that situation, especially with as much as we've been talking about it, and somebody went and checked on him to help him. And so in the previous video, we came across many tweets. We played a video where you could hear the gunshot. I was not expecting to be able to hear the gunshot just because that's something that would not normally be within my hearing range. So that was pretty wild to see. We also read out some tweets of people just openly rooting or cheering for the shooting to happen. And this is really crazy because in my lifetime, I don't know of a president being shot at like this, other than Trump, obviously, with his ear being nicked and the whole conversation around how that was like an intervention from God. We know that other people did lose their lives at that event. And so I've never seen a political figure be shot at in this way. So it's really crazy that when it's Charlie Kirk of all people, I read through a lot of tweets where people are saying, hey, he's for open debate, he'll debate anybody, he solves things with his words, not violence. And then we also talked about how this was basically a white on white crime. So with what was happening previously, we had a black on white crime, and then we have black on black crime that's been talked about. And so this is really going to escalate things because nobody has been wanting to talk about white on white crime. We've been focusing on the other two. And so they quickly identify the shooter. They're saying that it's this older white man. And so that is really going to shake things up, because if this was a black person, I think that people would have been even more escalated. But I think there's a moment of being stunned and shocked that a white person did this to another white person, because this is what people are saying. White on crime is just as bad as black on black crime. You don't hear about it the same way that you hear about black on black crime. So this is really crazy. So I have the Twitter feed recording, so I'm gonna refresh. Anything that's below I've already read out, and let me play this clip from MNSBC. Moments after Charlie Kirk was shot, the Trump administration will use it as a justification for something. So let's play this.
To send in federal troops into Washington because, as we were just talking about a moment ago with Alan, after one of the Doge employees was allegedly attacked in Washington, D.C., that's what Donald Trump used as justification to send in federal troops into Washington, D.C. to get things under control. The carjacking situation, he used that. And I know it's hard to predict the future, Mark, but you can imagine the administration using this as a justification for something.
I must admit, I'm at a loss to guess as to what happens next. But
Kirk, so talk to me about the environment.
So that's a wild take. I mean, obviously, when you have an act of violence like this, there were so many people at this event. It was a white person who shot another white person, and this is on top of already escalating tension between people who are part of different parties, whether it's the left and the right, whether it's blacks and whites. And so obviously this is going to lead to something happening to either, I don't know if we should restrict gun laws or make gun laws more strict and really prevent certain people from getting guns, but I don't know if the answer is completely removing guns so that nobody but the police force or something like that can have guns. And so obviously something more drastic has to happen at this point, because this is a huge escalation from what everybody has been talking about with Irina Zaruska and her stabbing and all of that stuff. So this is really crazy. Okay, so this is the up close image that I had come across. This does not look good, and this reminds me of MLK, JFK, and all of that. Like, this was really brutal. This happened in Utah, which is a red state. It's a Republican state. So the fact that this happened where he should be among other people who think like him and all of that stuff is pretty crazy. Marjorie Taylor Greene, 5 minutes ago, I've been told Charlie Kirk is alive. Continue praying for Charlie. America saw a miracle after Trump was shot because we as a nation were praying a covering of protection over him before he was ever shot in Butler. America needs to see another miracle from all of us praying for Charlie after what looked unsurvivable. America needs to believe in God. I believe in miracles because I believe in Jesus, the Son of God. In the name of Jesus, please save Charlie Kirk. So this is a really nice tweet, and what I like is that she's talking about praying because we just had that whole situation with the school shooting in Minneapolis where the mayor was basically saying, hey, prayer's not going to do anything. They were praying when they were attacked, and so she's speaking to the power of prayer in this instance. So I don't like the whole divisive language that I've been seeing on Twitter, so I've been looking through tweets probably for about 45 minutes to an hour now, even though what you're seeing is just a few minutes so far. It's really crazy because I don't like continuing to divide people. Like, after seeing something like this, you should understand, like, hey, we need to be more united. It's not about left and right. It's not about black and white anymore. We all need to come together and stop this craziness because it's just making it worse to be in society and have to deal with other people. So I have no words. It's just crazy. Like, this is not a president. This is not somebody in Congress. This is a political figure on YouTube with Turning Point USA, and for him to be shot at in a attempted assassination, this is really crazy because I don't want to go down that line of thought, but him being shot of all people is pretty wild. Charlie Kirk's blood is on the hands of mainstream media, period. So earlier I had read out a tweet where it was basically talking about how different people just days ago were bashing Charlie Kirk for what he was saying about the Arena Zaruska shooting and then some other stuff, and they were really, like, I guess, villainizing him. And there was one tweet that I read out from Tyler Cohen Bryant or about him and how just days ago he was criticizing him, and then now he was saying basically well wishes to him on X. And so the person whose tweet I read out, they were basically saying, like, hey, you can't call him a monster, whatever, and then in the next moment wish him well. It doesn't work like that. Like, your words have meaning is basically the point. If you've seen the up close image and you're still talking crap or saying whatever you are saying that makes you sound inhumane in terms of how graphic the shooting was as far as the footage that we saw, is really crazy, because if you saw the up close shot, you know how bad it is and how bad that looked. And I really hope that somebody went up to him and tried to help him, especially as I mentioned with the Arena Zaruska shooting, how for 2 or 3 minutes nobody went and helped her. Oh, this one is a tweet that I read out earlier. So this one is crazy because, let me just go ahead and play it.
In which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea.
So that tweet is, or that clip from mainstream media is pretty crazy, because when you're shooting a gun in celebration, you shoot in the air, you don't shoot at someone. So that take is just really wild to see on mainstream media. Okay, so Glenn Beck says Charlie Kirk has a pulse, says his daughter was at the tent. Oh, wow, that's crazy to see your father get shot like that and not know what happened. I spoke to somebody in a position who knows, and he said he has a pulse, so that's good news. My daughter was at that tent. So I don't know if this is Glenn Beck's daughter, if it's Charlie Kirk's daughter who's at the tent, so not sure about that. But okay, so this one is interesting. The left-wing mainstream media, as well as figures like Gavin Newsom claiming Trump plans to be a dictator, has created a climate of hysteria against right-wing figures that could radicalize any number of unstable people to engage in political violence. Per Charlie Kirk is okay. So I do want to comment on this because, again, I was saying in the earlier recording that this shooting reminded me of JFK and MLK, and I was saying that because RFK was shot the way that he was shot and killed the way that he was, that was why he or political or presidential candidates were able to get Secret Service protection. And so now for these people who are not in political positions, like official political positions, are they going to walk around with bodyguards now? Are they going to have their venues and their events vetted and secured and all of that stuff before they go there. Like, how does this change politics going forward for people who are political commentators but they're not in official positions? This Charlie Kirk news is insane, incredibly sad. Seeing the family photos with his wife and kids breaks my heart, and I'm praying for a miracle that he makes it. I advise you not to watch the close-up video. Like, the first time I saw it, I was shocked. I was just like, wow. Like, it was that crazy to see it, like, for the first time and see how bad it was, because again, the first video that I saw, it was far away and it was blurry. I could tell that he got hit, but I couldn't see, like, the blood and stuff like that. So really wild. I'm gonna make a point, because before I had started the recording that I tried to do at about 3:08 or something like that, I was actually looking into Whoopi Goldberg, because she made some comments in relation to the Irina Zaruska stabbing, and she was basically saying it's not political, and she was responding to the press secretary's comments criticizing the people who are in charge or in power in Charlotte, and saying that this was Democrat policies and liberal policies that allowed this to happen. And so right now, we're seeing more situations that are causing divides between black and white people, and then the left and the right. So it is about politics, but it's also not. Like, we need to come together, and we should all, amongst all of the different factions and parties and groups, we should all have a baseline respect for each other, that stuff like this doesn't happen. A shooting like this doesn't happen, and a stabbing like that doesn't happen. So guns are not the problem. The people who have guns, we need to be more strict on who gets guns, but we should not eliminate guns completely. The purpose of the Second Amendment is so that the government can't take control over everybody, because we're powerless to fight back. So yeah, I'm just gonna... Charlie Kirk is a fixture of the Gen Z social media diet. People feel like they know him. This will hit very, very close to home in ways we are not prepared for. So again, if you're not understanding, this has the levels of MLK and JFK and RFK. I have not seen anyone shot in my lifetime other than President Trump. So this is really wild to see. Like, this wasn't live streaming or anything, and maybe it would have been for the event, but I did not know about the event. So that is really crazy and something that should not have happened, especially after all of the conversation that we were having over Irina Zaruska. Like, people should come together and try to prevent another tragedy from happening. Like, why would you go out and try to kill somebody? And the whole thing of this being white on white crime, how is this going to be framed and talked about going forward? Are we going to continue talking about black on white crime and white on black crime, or are we going to realize that everyone commits crime? Like, this is really shocking, and this is going to hit a lot of people hard. So does it really matter if it's a white person shooting another white person? A person shot someone else. That's all that should matter. I'm going to play this. So I saw this video this morning on my feed, and I think it so eloquently explains what Charlie Kirk was put on this earth to do. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That is when civil war happens.
I go around universities and have challenging conversations, and because that's what is so important to our country, is to find our disagreements respectfully, because when people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
I've never seen someone do this.
Well, it's a growing trend, because people like me are facing violence, assaults.
Wow.
Yes, the campus Antifa. I've been stormed out of restaurants. I've been assaulted publicly, multiple death threats.
Okay, so what's your goal in all this?
There's more people that agree with me than some people would actually believe, and they come out of the woodwork when I do stuff like this. We record all of it so that we put on the internet so people can see these ideas collide. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens, because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their humanity.
That was so powerful. I'm not seeing any more updates, so let me refresh again. I may need to end this video sooner. The other one was about a 45-minute video. This one may be shorter, just because I don't think we're getting any other updates. So okay, so 11 minutes ago, so not super recent, it's being reported that Charlie Kirk is still alive and fighting for his life. Everyone needs to continue praying. Okay, we're gonna refresh. We may go ahead and end here. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end here. It's 4:36.